As I have said, some people hate the game, some love it, and others miss the point. This woman missed a valuable opportunity to learn something. In the opening round, she drew a dude ad card with the boat on it. At first, she was happy. Oh, I have got a boat. Then, as her friend tried to explain how the numbers worked on her income statement and balance sheet, she got frustrated because she had never liked math. The rest of her table waited while her friend continued explaining the relationship between the income statement, balance sheet, and monthly cash flow. Suddenly, when she realized how the numbers worked, it dawned on her that her boat was eating her alive. Later on in the game, she was also downsized and had a child. It was a horrible game for her. After the class, her friend came by and told me that she was upset. She had come to the class to learn about investing and did not like the idea that it took so long to play a silly game. Her friend attempted to tell her to look within herself to see if the game reflected on herself in any way. With that suggestion, the woman demanded her money back. She said that the very idea that the game could be a reflection of her was ridiculous. What does this ridiculous means? Very silly or unreasonable. Her money was promptly refunded and she left. Since 1984, I have made millions simply by doing what the school system does not does not. In school, most teachers lecture. I hated lectures as a student. I was soon bored and my mind would drift. In 1984, I began teaching via games and simulations. I always encouraged adult students to look at games as reflecting back to what they know and what they needed to learn. Most importantly, a game reflects back on one's behavior. It is an instant feedback system. Instead of teaching lecturing instead of teacher lecturing you, the game is feeding back a personalized lecture, custom made just for you. The friend of the woman who left later called to give me an update. She said her friend was fine and had calmed down. In her cooling off period, she could see some slight relationship between the game and her life. Although she and her husband did not own a boat, they did own every time they did own everything else imaginable. She was angry after their divorce, both because he had run off with a younger woman and because after 20 years of marriage they had accumulated little in the way of assets. There were virtually nothing for them to split. Their 20 years of married life had been incredible fun, but all they had accumulated was a ton of dude ads. She realized that her anger at she realized that her anger at doing the numbers, the income statement and the balance sheet came from her embarrassment of not understanding them. She had believed that finances were the man's job. She maintained the house and did the entertaining, and the and he handled the finances. She was now quite certain that in the last 5 years of their marriage he had hidden money from her. She was angry at herself for not being more aware of where the money was going, as well as for not knowing about the other woman. Just like a board game, the world is always providing us with instant feedback. We could learn a lot if we tuned in more. One day, not long ago, I complained to my wife that the cleaners must have shrunk my pants. My wife gently smiled and poked me in the stomach to inform me that the pants had not shrunk. Something else had expanded me. The game cash flow was designed to give every player personal feedback. Its purpose is to give you options. If you draw the boat card and it puts you into the debt, the question is now what can you do? How many different financial options can you come up with? How many different financial options can you come up with? That is the purpose of the game, to teach players to think and create new and various financial options. I have watched this game played by more than 1,000 people. The people who get out of the rat race in the game the quickest are the people who understand numbers and have creative financial minds. They recognize different financial options. People who take the longest are the people who are not familiar with numbers and often do not understand the power of investing. Rich people are often creative and take calculated risks. There have been people playing cash flow who gain lots of money in the game, but they don't know what to do with it. Most of them have not been financially successful in real life either. Everyone else seems to be getting ahead of them, even though they have money, and that is true in real life. There are a lot of people who have a lot of money and do not get ahead financially.